Tail position and movement are among the most expressive elements of a pet's body language, especially in dogs and cats. Observing the tail can provide vital clues about what your pet is feeling or trying to communicate. In dogs, a wagging tail is commonly associated with happiness, but it's not always that simple. The speed, height, and rigidity of the wag all contribute to its meaning. A high, fast wagging tail usually indicates excitement and friendliness, while a slow wag with the tail held low or stiff can signal uncertainty, caution, or even mild aggression. If the tail is held high and rigid, especially with small twitch-like movements, it may be a sign that the dog is on high alert or feels threatened. On the other hand, a tail tucked between the legs is a universal sign of fear, anxiety, or submission. In cats, tail communication is equally nuanced but quite different from dogs. A cat's tail held upright, especially with a gentle curve at the top, typically suggests confidence and a friendly mood. When a cat approaches with its tail straight up and possibly vibrating slightly, it's a sign of affection and recognition. However, if the tail is puffed up, it's an indicator of fear or aggression, a response often triggered by sudden stress or threats. A rapidly flicking or lashing tail in cats is often a warning sign of irritation, agitation, or overstimulation, especially if the cat is being petted. A low tail or one tucked tightly around the body can indicate fear or submission. Interestingly, when cats wrap their tails around another cat or even a human, it's a sign of bonding and affection, much like a hug. Reading tail language also requires taking the context and individual personality into account. Some dogs naturally carry their tails high or wag them more often, while some cats may be more expressive with their tails than others. Additionally, breeds with dog tails or naturally curly tails may express emotions differently, making it important to also consider the pet's overall body language and facial expressions. Ultimately, learning to interpret your pet's tail movements can significantly improve your communication with them and deepen your understanding of their emotional state, helping you respond appropriately to their needs and feelings. Ears are powerful indicators of a pet's emotions and intentions, especially in dogs and cats. Unlike humans, pets use their ears not just for hearing, but also as a key form of nonverbal communication. Observing the position, movement, and stiffness of the ears can help you interpret how your pet is feeling in any given situation. In dogs, ears that are perked up and facing forward usually suggest interest, alertness, or curiosity. This is often seen when they hear a new sound or see something unfamiliar. If the ears are relaxed and held naturally, it typically means the dog is calm and content. However, when the ears are pulled back slightly, but still somewhat erect, the dog may be showing friendliness or submission. In more extreme cases, if the ears are pinned tightly back against the head, it can indicate fear, anxiety, or a warning sign of potential aggression, depending on the context and accompanying body language. In cats, the ears are even more expressive due to their high mobility. Cats can rotate their ears nearly 180 degrees, allowing for very precise communication. Ears that are pointed forward often mean the cat is focused or curious about something in its environment. When a cat's ears are standing tall and facing forward, it usually signifies that the cat is alert and interested, perhaps watching prey or listening to a sound. On the other hand, ears that are flattened sideways, often called airplane ears, typically signal irritation or fear. If the ears are pinned back tightly against the head, it's a strong sign that the cat feels threatened, angry, or is preparing to defend itself. This posture is commonly seen in aggressive encounters or during high-stress moments, such as visits to the vet. It's important to note that ear signals should always be interpreted alongside other body language cues like eyes, tail, and overall posture. Every pet is unique, and breed characteristics can also affect how their ears are positioned naturally. For instance, floppy-eared dogs might not have as expressive ear movements as those with erect ears, so observing subtle shifts becomes more important. By paying attention to how your pet moves and positions their ears in different situations, you can better understand their mood, anticipate their reactions, and build a stronger, more responsive relationship based on trust and clear communication. Eyes and pupils are incredibly expressive features in both dogs and cats, serving as key indicators of their emotional state. When observing your pet, the shape of their eyes, the size of their pupils, and the intensity of their gaze can tell you a great deal about what they are feeling. In dogs, soft, relaxed eyes with a normal shape and blinking behavior generally indicate that they are calm, happy, and at ease. A dog that is staring softly or blinking slowly is showing trust and comfort. On the other hand, white eyes with a lot of white showing, often referred to as whale eye, can signal fear, anxiety, or discomfort. This might be seen in stressful situations, such as loud environments, unfamiliar visitors, or when they are being handled in a way they dislike. Dilated pupils in dogs may also be a sign of excitement, arousal, or fear, depending on the context. A hard, fixed stare with unblinking eyes can be a warning signal, often preceding aggressive behavior, especially if accompanied by a stiff body posture. In cats, eye signals can be even more nuanced. Relaxed, half-closed eyes or slow blinking are signs of trust and affection. If your cat looks at you and slowly blinks, it is often referred to as a cat kiss, and you can return the gesture by blinking back. This slow blinking behavior shows that the cat feels safe and comfortable in your presence. Wide open eyes with large pupils can mean several things depending on the situation. If the cat is playing or exploring, dilated pupils can indicate excitement or arousal. However, in a tense or unfamiliar environment, the same wide pupils may be a sign of fear or high alertness. Squinting or narrowed eyes might suggest discomfort, pain, or suspicion, especially if accompanied by flattened ears or a tense body. The direction of your pet's gaze also plays a role in communication. Direct eye contact in dogs can sometimes be seen as a challenge or threat, especially between unfamiliar animals. However, with their owners, dogs often seek eye contact as a way to bond and communicate affection. In contrast, cats may avoid prolonged direct eye contact as it can be perceived as intimidating. Understanding these subtle cues through your pet's eyes and pupils can help you better respond to their emotional needs and create a more trusting, empathetic bond. Body posture is a fundamental way pets communicate their emotions, intentions, and overall mood. It reflects how they perceive their surroundings and whether they feel safe, threatened, playful, or aggressive. In dogs, a relaxed and loose body posture typically means they are comfortable and content. You'll often see this when a dog is lying on its side, rolling over, or sitting with a soft expression. When a dog rolls onto its back and exposes its belly, it can be a sign of trust and submission, especially if paired with a wagging tail and relaxed muscles. However, in some cases, this posture can also be a defensive reaction, so it's important to assess the situation and the dog's other signals. A dog that stands tall and stiff with its chest forward, tail raised, and ears alert may be feeling dominant or threatened. This posture is often used to assert control or show readiness to confront a perceived danger. In contrast, a crouched or hunched posture with the tail tucked under and the head lowered usually signals fear or submission. This defensive stance is common in dogs that are feeling scared, anxious, or unsure about their environment or the people around them. Similarly, if a dog freezes in place, it could indicate extreme stress or the moment before a defensive reaction, especially if their eyes are wide and ears pinned back. Cats, too, communicate a great deal through body posture. A relaxed cat may lie stretched out or curled up, with muscles appearing soft and limbs comfortably positioned. When a cat is content, it might stretch its body fully, exposing its belly, though not all cats enjoy being touched in that vulnerable area. A crouched body with legs tucked under and tail wrapped around suggests the cat is calm but alert. However, if the body becomes stiff and low to the ground with ears flat and tail twitching, it's a sign of fear, irritation, or potential aggression. A puffed up, arched back with fur standing on end is a classic defensive posture, indicating that the cat feels highly threatened and is trying to appear larger to scare off the danger. Reading these body cues in context with other signals like facial expression, tail movement, and vocalization is essential to fully understand what your pet is trying to express and how best to respond to their emotional state. Vocalizations are an essential aspect of how pets communicate with both humans and other animals. While every pet has its own unique voice and patterns of sound, there are general meanings behind common types of vocal expressions in dogs and cats. In dogs, barking is one of the most well-known vocalizations, but it can mean many different things depending on pitch, frequency, and context. A high-pitched, repetitive bark may indicate excitement or a desire for attention, such as during playtime or when greeting a familiar person. A low, deep bark, on the other hand, may signal a warning or an alert to a potential threat. Some dogs bark out of boredom, while others may use barking as a way to express anxiety, particularly when left alone. Whining is another common vocalization in dogs and is often associated with anxiety, stress, or a plea for attention. Dogs may whine when they are uncomfortable, scared, or longing for something, such as food or a walk. Growling is a more serious sound that usually indicates a warning. It can be a signal that the dog is feeling threatened, possessive, or is setting a boundary. However, not all growls are aggressive. Some dogs growl during play, and it's usually softer and accompanied by playful body language. In cats, vocalizations tend to be more varied and dependent on their environment and relationship with humans. Meowing is typically directed at people rather than other cats and can carry a wide range of meanings, from greeting to asking for food, to expressing discomfort. A short, soft meow might be a simple hello, while a loud, prolonged meow can indicate urgency or demand. Some cats become more vocal when they're stressed or seeking attention. Purring is generally associated with comfort and contentment, especially when a cat is being petted or resting peacefully. However, cats can also purr when they are in pain or anxious, using the sound as a form of self-soothing. Hissing and growling in cats are unmistakable signs of fear or aggression. These sounds are defensive warnings, often accompanied by other body language like flattened ears and an arched back. Understanding the pitch, volume, and context of these vocalizations, along with accompanying body language, helps you interpret your pet's emotional state more accurately and respond in a way that supports their needs and comfort. Facial expressions are subtle yet powerful indicators of how pets are feeling at any given moment. Dogs and cats both use facial muscles to convey emotions, such as joy, stress, fear, and affection, although their expressions differ and must be interpreted within the context of their species-specific behavior. In dogs, a relaxed and open mouth with the tongue hanging slightly out, sometimes called a dog smile, usually signifies contentment and happiness. This expression is often seen when a dog is enjoying itself during a walk, play session, or while relaxing at home. On the other hand, a tightly closed mouth with tension in the facial muscles can signal that the dog is anxious or unsure. Yawning, while often a sign of tiredness, can also indicate stress or discomfort in unfamiliar or overwhelming situations. Similarly, lip licking in the absence of food can be a calming signal or a sign of nervousness. Raised eyebrows or a furrowed brow in dogs may suggest curiosity or confusion, especially when paired with a tilted head. If a dog's eyes appear wide and its forehead is wrinkled, it may be experiencing fear or stress. Watching these small changes in facial tension can help pet owners determine whether a situation is enjoyable or upsetting for their dog. Cats, while generally more reserved in their facial expressions, also provide key emotional clues through their eyes, mouth, and whiskers. A calm and happy cat often has soft eyes, with the eyelids partially closed and a slow blinking pattern. Slow blinking is a particularly significant gesture of trust and affection in cats, often referred to as a cat kiss. In contrast, wide-open eyes with dilated pupils can indicate surprise, excitement, or fear. A cat that is frightened or agitated may also show tension around the mouth and nose, sometimes drawing back its lips slightly or flattening its ears. Whiskers also play a role. Relaxed whiskers that sit naturally suggest a calm demeanor, while whiskers pushed forward can show excitement or arousal, and pulled back whiskers may indicate fear or aggression. Reading facial expressions should always be done alongside other physical cues like ear position, body posture, and tail movement to get a complete picture of how the pet is feeling. Every pet has individual expressions and tendencies, so observing and learning your own pet's unique facial cues will improve communication and strengthen your bond over time.